Welcome back to Baron's New Vegas Energy Guides, and this episode will be the introduction to that most wondrous phase of matter and a sci-fi writer's best friend when it comes to a damaging weapon: plasma. Having been a feature of science fiction for as long as science fiction has been around, the plasma weapons owe their existence to the invention of the 1880s, arc welding. While not the power of the plasma cutter invented in 1957, the arc welder showed the incredible power of electricity in the slag it makes, which is a form of plasma. The ray guns, heat rays, and lasers of H.G. Wells lacked the toroid or plasma bolt shape that has now become synonymous with the weapon, but the idea and concept for them exists back then, only lacking the ability to conceive them in shape. And the classic laser was the best way and cheapest to illustrate them in all the pulp science fiction pieces of media. Now, considering those depictions of lasers existed 60 years before the actual invention, it isn't hard to know why no differentiation existed, because there was nothing to compare it to. Modern projectile plasma weapons, with all their thermal and impact damage, depictions started from about the 80s, from Terminator to Warhammer 40,000 to Mega Man to Star Wars. The idea of plasma came as an incredibly powerful weapon, slicing through armor like it wasn't there, and being able to melt or slice with no resistance. As heat ray weapons died out, they were replaced by plasma, and it became the power weapon of choice. Now, even in games like Halo, where plasma has shield-piercing effects but isn't really stronger than bullets, they do share something most plasma weapons have: the ability to be charged or overcharged. And while Fallout plasma weapons lack this ability, it is still very common. Now, the main difference plasma has compared to laser weapons is the use of a projectile. Either fast or slow, the plasma bolts are almost always slower than actual bullets or lasers. Now, this holds true for the New Vegas plasma pistol, where it has a projectile that needs to lead a moving target, as it is quite slow. Now, according to a description and pieces from the Fallout Bible, the plasma pistols use 5 energy arcs to make the plasma that is flushed through the central cathode. The cathode ray fires a bead of electrical energy, which causes the plasma to follow through the emitter of the tube. This pinches the plasma into the bolt seen in-game. Now, the plasma pistol seen in-game is the same as the one found in the Capitol Wasteland, which were all based on the MPLX Nova Surge frame, which, that plasma pistol in particular, is the most powerful plasma pistol in the Fallout series. Made 14 years before the Great War, and a number of years before the Austrian Glock 86 plasma pistol, the MPLX Nova Surge was a prototype that consumed quite a bit of power to achieve its massive power output. Now, for the frame itself, it was approved by the Enclave, but in the centuries that followed, it was one that was able to be manufactured, as opposed to the Glock 86. With the Enclave on both coasts and a lot of their technology stolen by the NCR, it makes sense that the pistol rose to prominence in the 200 years after the Great War. Now, to get to the juicy bits of it, the plasma pistol does 33 points of damage, almost 3 times as much as the laser pistol, but then it's shirred as it uses 2 energy cells per shot. It fires slowly, at only 1.8 attacks per second, but considering 1 or 2 shots can kill or severely injure most small things in the game, I think that's okay. With a low DPS of 57.8, it is slightly better than the laser pistol still, and with a capacity of 32 cells or 16 shots, and a reload of 2 seconds, it still beats the laser pistol at a sustained DPS of 47.4. Now, due to being an energy weapon, it also has the innate -2 damage threshold modifier. Now, the biggest difference is not the damage or energy consumption, but it is the aforementioned projectile speed. Unlike explosives, which make up for their slow speed with area damage, the plasma is just slow, but at least it doesn't drop. Moving at 7,500 units per second, which is 107 meters per second, is 3 times slower than bullets in real life. In game, that appears even slower. With the high ammo cost and huge spread of 0.5, it is also costly to miss, and very likely so Each plasma weapon needs VATs, careful aim, or unsuspecting targets to get the best out of them. Additionally, you could also just get pretty close. Sadly, despite being a pistol, the VATS cost is expensive, at 30 AP per shot, about double what most pistols are. But it is still good value, as it has an efficiency of 1.1 AP per damage. Now, when it comes to sights, it's the same story as the laser pistol. There's no base game iron sights, this due to it being based off the Fallout 3 weapon model. And that is to say that there's no sights of any kind, even whenever you use specific mods for it. Now on to the final aspect of it, the crit performance. It's as you expect from an energy weapon, which is a 1.5 times multiplier, dealing double damage, which, with how much damage this pistol does, means that it can punch well above its weight, dealing 66 damage on a critical. Unlike in other games in the series, the plasma pistol is more of a choice of preference than a straight upgrade like it is in every other single game, where an energy weapon skill becomes more useful for plasma. At 0 energy weapon requirement in New Vegas and only 2 strength needed to lift the 3-weight monster, the plasma pistol can be used with no training, and considering Chet can sell one, it might be a game-long commitment. It is also one of the more powerful improved holdout weapons. Now when I say it used to be an upgrade, in every other Fallout game, plasma weapons either through rarity or place that they're introduced in the game, are typically used as in-game energy weapons, the plasma pistol being better than the laser pistol by far, and even the laser rifle. It is only whenever the games move into 3D did plasma come with a handicap. Now, to get onto its cost, it is only 200 caps, which is great for a starting weapon. And with no mods in the base game, the plasma pistol is a cheap way to use those small energy cells. Now, the Gunrunner's arsenal does add mods that can make a plasma pistol a lifelong ally, but those will be covered in around 4 videos. Now, quickly moving along to durability, it has been boosted since Fallout 3, and at 745 standard shots, 878 bulk shots, 495 overcharge shots, and 295 max charge shots, the plasma pistol can survive for longer than most pistols with the right ammo. And since the plasma pistol uses small energy cells, and they are only used by energy pistols, this is almost the last time we will see them in a video. Now to begin, the standard is 2 caps per shot, and have that innate -2 damage threshold, which gives them a lot of punch against heavily armored enemies, although the plasma is just barely able to crack them open with the power armor targets. The overcharge is 3 caps per round, and can be made at a ratio of 3 standard to 2 overcharge cells. It increases damage by 25%, reduces enemy DT by 5, but increases the wear by 50%. It is a small sacrifice for a lot of damage, and will boost the plasma pistol to be able to crack basically every enemy in the game. The max charge ammo, which also costs 3 caps per round, taking 5 standard cells for 2 ammo when crafting. This lets the plasma pistol punch straight through anything, with an armor modifier of -10 and increasing the damage by 60%. This wears out the gun 2.5 times faster, but it is amazing whenever you need to get something killed quite quickly. Now, it will reduce the life of this weapon to about the same as the 10mm pistol using a damaging ammo, but it does a lot more. And finally, there's the bulk ammo, bought in boxes of 100 for 100 caps, and it's the low-powered ammo, 85% damage with only 85% of the normal wear. Those are weapons for if you need to stretch the plasma pistol out for longer, or just need to be economical. With the plasma pistol, it'll still do quite a lot of damage. Now, one last time, it bears repeating, for those that play Legion, they can get hundreds or thousands of these cells from the Caesar's Favor quest, or the respawning chest, which makes Legion players have the easiest energy gun playthrough. With the already high damage of the plasma pistol, max charge is typically overkill, but overcharge is almost always gonna be fine. Now, sadly there is no unique, but the regular version can be found in quite a few places. If you're looking to kill someone or reverse pickpocket them, Gloria Van Graff, Isaac the Gunrunner, Eddie in the New California Republic Correctional Facility, the Silver Rush Crier, and numerous schools at the RepCon test site, if you manage to get there into level 5, all carry them. Now, free versions can be found in the Gunrunner building itself, 2 of them can be found in the Silver Rush, 1 can be found in the RepCon HQ, and in the Mr. Goodsey house in Nipton. Also, a perfect one can be found in Head Paladin Harden's room in Hidden Valley. Finally, with those for the massive amount of caps needed to buy one, almost anybody can sell them if they sell weapons, that being from Chet to the Vendertron. In conclusion, the plasma pistol isn't a new place in New Vegas. Instead of being the first in a line of in-game weapons, it is the first in a selection of weapons for the beginning of the game. It is powerful, hungry, and inaccurate, but its power alone makes it attractive in the beginning. It definitely has a place as an improved holdout weapon, and for punching through the armor of Deathclaws and Super Mutants, and with an ammo choice to boot, it can punch through powered armored enemies. In the end, you'd be surprised what this little guy can do, and it makes for a good energy backup if every actual gun is bone dry. It'll be the friends till the end of days, until you go into the big empty probably. But that's spoilers for another time.